Sony really knows how to make all of us love and hate them, don't they? So for those of you that have not been paying attention to any of the news that's been going on here recently, especially when it comes with Sony, yesterday they actually went ahead and did a technical presentation, basically a live stream of them revealing the PlayStation 5 Pro and pretty much comparing the PS5 Pro to the original or normal standard PS5. And a lot of people are really upset, not really just because it's not really that much of a big upgrade, or really just the stuff that they showed off with it weren't really showing anything like new game wise or just software wise. But the main thing that everyone's really is very upset about is just because of the price tag. In fact, I was actually one of those people when I first looked at it. I was very in shock and surprised that PlayStation would actually want to sell a system for that amount of money. That's right, guys. On screen you guys can see what the price of the PlayStation 5 Pro is, and that is going to be $699.99 in the United States, or just $700 in the US. But this time around they want you to go ahead and charge you $700 plus as well another about $80 to $100 for the disc drive, and then another 20 some bucks for the vertical stand. That I just think it's ridiculous. And for it being considered the Pro model of the PS5, I think that it should just include everything that even the original PS5 had and then some, especially with the all new kind of upgrades that it comes already built into the system itself. A lot of people are also complaining that it's very difficult to really see the difference between a standard PS5 and the PS5 Pro. Now for me, I can definitely see some of the explanation that Mark Cerny was having in the presentation, where they were showing off a bit of some side-by-side views of like some games running on a normal PS5 to a PS5 Pro. And I can see just, just the further distance away, there is a little bit of a better, it's a little bit more clear, less of a blur effect really when it comes down to it. But in reality, it's something that I don't really think that it's actually a really big deal that is warranted that $700 price tag. And I'm with everyone that agrees with the whole situation, where like $700 with no disc drive and also no vertical stand with it, I think is really, really stupid. And Sony should be very ashamed of themselves. At this point, it's basically just the reason why they're doing this is just because I think they just feel like they can. Because let's just be honest, the PS4 dominated Xbox, and then right now, currently, the PS5 is also dominating Xbox. But I think the other reason why, and again, this is just all speculation on my part, why I feel like PlayStation is charging us such just a weird amount of money for the system is probably just because they've been literally failing at every other software project that they have been making recently. I mean, there's Concord, Helldivers 2 now is unfortunately failing or going down. There's just so many different types of titles that they have just not been selling good at all. And the only game that I can think of recently that has actually been, at least in my opinion, selling a good amount of money and also making a profit would probably be a game like Astrobot, which I also just want to go ahead and mention here that in the presentation, when they were showcasing a lot of these games comparisons and stuff like that, they were showing off games like Spider-Man 2, The Last of Us Part 2, which is a PS4 game really, just the upgraded remastered version and so on. But they weren't really showing off like any like brand new recent PS5 titles. Like, I was actually surprised that they did not show off Astrobot, which was it's a recent game and it's a PS5 exclusive. And I mean, in my mind, I'm like, this would be a perfect chance to go ahead and just advertise this game, especially with how great it's doing, and reviews are coming out for the game saying that it's just an amazing platformer. And it really is. I actually recently started playing it and I've been falling in love with it as well. But it just boggles my mind that they just have not advertised anything for this great game. And honestly, them showcasing the potential upgrade to the PS5 Pro version, I feel like that would have been a good way for them to also even advertise the game. But that's just, again, my speculation. I just think just because PlayStation have been taking nothing but massive L's lately, that they just think that they can just go ahead and just overprice their entire system, especially when currently there really isn't another system that's competing at their level right now currently. I mean, sure, you have Xbox, but even then, they haven't really been selling that much consoles recently, and not even then software wise, they also just haven't really had much of software. The other one that I can think of would be the Nintendo Switch, but the Nintendo Switch itself is actually currently in its final years basically, and we might be getting a new system announced sometime at the end of this year. So at this point, Sony really doesn't really have any form of competition to really go against. But in my own personal opinion, I just want to go ahead and add here that, do I think the PS5 Pro is worth the $700 asking price? I absolutely don't think so. Especially if it's not coming out with an optical disc drive or with a stand. And even then, even if it included the stand and the disc drive, I still don't think it's really worth it for that $700 asking price. I feel like at this point what they should have done is they should have actually went ahead and at least sold the system for like about $500. Maybe make that the normal new price for the PS5. So make that $500 or maybe $550 at most. And then for the PS5, the standard, go ahead and reduce the price to just $400. You know, just drop the price down for those systems, especially since they've been out now since 2020. But man, it's crazy to think about that Sony right now, it seems like they're going back to their old PS3 ways, and that's actually what a lot of people have also been comparing this kind of way that Sony have been dealing with the market right now, is they're kind of reversing back to their original PS3 release way. But yeah, that's just basically my rambling. I just wanted to give out my 2 cents here of the PS5 Pro and how I personally think it's not worth it. Maybe when it's on sale and stuff, maybe I'll go ahead and I'll pick one up myself actually. But even then, like, I don't really see much of a boost of graphics or performance unless you're really one of those people that want to see like a full 4K at 60 FPS kind of like thing. Like if you have a monitor or TV, then I guess that'd be perfect for you. But even then, I don't really see this as being a big jump comparing it. Last generation, they went from the PS4 to the PS4 Pro, or the Xbox One to the Xbox One X. I think at this point, a lot of people are in that same vein where we just are not going to support this, and we're just kind of like gonna let it just go away. The only time that I feel like this would be appropriate for you to purchase is, of course, if you don't own a PS5, this system might be okay for you if you've never bought a PS5 before. But if you own a PS5 already, I don't really see much of a difference or a high enough purpose for you to actually get this so-called upgrade. So, but me saying that, I still do want to point out that it is still an upgrade to the PS5. Not to say that it isn't, but I just don't think it's $700 worth of an upgrade.